Welcome back everyone, Happy New Year, another year, another Q&A. For those who's been with me for years, I make these videos once a year, updating you lot on where I am in life and where this channel is heading towards. By True Boss, when did you realize that nah, I'm gonna do my own thing, I'm not gonna do what the 85% do, I'll be legendary. Being legendary is questionable, but doing my own thing, 100%. It actually happened in 3 stages of my life. In school, when I was 16 years old, these serious looking people in suits came to our school and we were tasked to come up with a plan for what we wanted to do in the future. The teacher would call us up individually from class and go to the hall, where each students were being interviewed individually by those professional looking people in suits. Run! When I was called upon them, I pretty much told the interviewer that I was interested in video editing and I wanted to make a living out of it. And you know what I was told? That if I wanted to earn money from my passion, I'll have to go to university. If there wasn't any other options, then I'd find opportunity in uni. In my mind back then, I accepted it because it seemed like the right thing. Nearly everyone would go to university after school, so why not, right? That was the first stage. The second stage, when I realized that I do my own thing, happened in a job experience I did within the same year. So, the school told us to look for a job to do for a week, to experience what it's like working. I was designated in this small family-run business. It's a warehouse. My task there varied from doing administration to picking and sorting items in a warehouse and archiving files. And honestly, it opened my eyes to see what it's like working as an adult. I witnessed hard-working employees who took the job seriously, while other employees also showed signs of sympathy and humor towards me. Like, there was a time when I was on my break, eating all alone in a sitting area of the warehouse, and one of the office lady walked past me and then stopped and offered me to join them in the office because that's where everyone was at. I guess she did that because she didn't want to see me all alone.
Just you and me now.
And another time, the music was playing in the warehouse and one of the employees there started dancing to it because the energy at that moment was so lit. It was Kesha Timber song that was playing. But in the end, after finishing 1 week of work experience, I felt like the 9-to-5 life wasn't for me because there were times where I felt trapped in that place that was keeping me from doing what I wanted to do. You ever get that?
Yeah, sometimes.
And then comes the third stage. Now this is the biggest turning point of my life when I realized that I should do my own thing and not do what everyone else is doing. 1 year later, in 2016, I wanted to create a video game just for fun while still making YouTube videos after school. I made a fantasy story-driven game using the RPG Maker software, but then I realized in order to make the characters interesting, I needed to be interesting. Guys, the story and characters can only go so far if the producer knows how to be interesting. That's when I went into this journey of self-improvement. I studied the art of the alpha male. I know, for every people that's looking to improve themselves, we all gotta start from somewhere. I started by studying what it takes to be the alpha male, and you know what? It was actually very insightful because I learned to see the world in abundance. One of the teachers that I learned this from, who I still honor to this day, taught me to have an abundance mindset and that I should never see the world as scarce. Realize that the world is plentiful, full of jobs, opportunities, money, cars, houses, people. Because if you live in a scarcity mindset, you will never see the opportunity that awaits you. I saw an opportunity to make YouTube videos as my career because I saw other YouTubers who are doing this full time. And it wasn't until 2 years later in 2018 when I said to myself, alright, I'm not going to university and I'm not going to work a job. I'm going to take my YouTube channel more seriously. And here I am, still the most active GMV channel. What are your top 3 cooked foods and unhealthy foods? And what would you eat till the end of time? 3 cooked foods: chicken, pork, and beef. I'm a zombie, I'm telling you. I prefer to just eat meat because it gives me power.
We need more power!
And any unhealthy foods I'd eat? Let's see. Pizza, chocolate chip cookies from the supermarket is another one. They're lush. And fast food places like McDonald's or KFC. Those are the 3 unhealthy foods that I would choose. As for your question, what would I eat till the end of time? I'll have to be a vampire to live forever. And what do vampires eat?
You're a vampire.
I don't think so.
Akash Singh. My question is, the GMV and AMV videos don't get as much views as they did back in the time. Is it still viable to start this journey now? Also, is this your full-time income? He also asked, how much are you earning? Can you show us like last time? I wanted to know if it can still be successful for new GMV makers. Unfortunately, I have seen GMVs come and go over the years to this day. GMVs aren't as popular as they used to be 4 years ago. So what I'm trying to do more often is use trending songs and anything animated that's popular to catch the trend. I can't necessarily speak for the AMV community as I don't get involved in it, but for those who want to know, AMVs are more popular than GMVs at a wide margin. So if you're looking to start a channel, an editing channel, you'll probably find more success in the AMV space. However, that doesn't mean GMVs isn't an option. When I started, I only made videos because it was something fun and that I genuinely liked doing it. So I did that between the year 2011 to 2017. It wasn't until the year 2018 when I decided to take it more seriously by uploading weekly videos in hopes that I could make a career out of it. In 2018, I only made $1,000. That's laughable. But next year in 2019, my revenue went to $7,000. That's a lot better, more than doubled my income from last year. Then came 2020, lockdown happened and everyone was indoors. This was the peak of my channel growth. I gained over 44k subscribers that year and have earned over $15,000, which again is doubled from last year. And then 1 year later, I kept uploading multiple videos weekly and have managed to secure $35,000 in 2021. And then the year 2022, I earned an incredible $47,000 in ad revenues alone. At the peak of my revenue, I earned $247 in 1 day.
Wow!
At this point, I felt rich. I was buying a bunch of graphics cards for my crypto mining business back then. But with all this growth and revenue, my channel eventually slowed down in growth, which resulted in less revenues. Unfortunately, I will not disclose how much revenue I made from the year 2023 to 2024, simply due to the fact that my channel is suffering from stagnation. I'm neither seeing high growth or sudden decline in revenue. All I can say is, if you live in a poor country where the monthly salary is less than $1,000, then having a GMV channel will get you by. But if you live in a first world country like the United Kingdom, then YouTube ad revenues for my niche will not be reliable. You'll need multiple sources of income. That is where I'm currently at right now. I'm fortunate enough to have built multiple streams of income, and I'm not solely relying on YouTube revenues alone.
Thanks for telling me.
Next Level Gaming. How's life, by the way, and how many children you got? Life is good. I feel fortunate to have set a plan in the past and have worked towards it to this day. Just this year, I finally bought my first property. I mentioned this in my last Q&A video where I planned to buy my first HMO. Well, instead, I just went for a single family home, a buy-to-let. I'm currently renting it out to a tenant, and I've learned quite a bit from being a landlord, and I can tell you now, I have a lot of negative things to say about it.
Oh no!
If you plan on being a landlord and rent your house to tenants, you will not see a return on investment until maybe after 3 years. Why? Because of all the legal fees, solicitor fees, gas, energy and electric certificates, survey fees, mortgage advisor fees, and stamp duty. In US, it's called transfer fees.
Are you stealing my money? Guess so.
You have to take into consideration your monthly mortgages, taking away your rental income. There's a lot of maintenance that's required to fix up the house. You also have to worry about the potential missed payments from the tenants and then tenancy turnovers whenever it's vacant. And not to forget, for every rental income you receive, it's all taxed. This can all add up to £10,000 more on top of the down payment for the house when you applied for the mortgage.
Huh?
In other words, when you buy a house to rent, you are immediately down £10,000 from your initial investment. And it's going to take approximately 2 to 3 years to break even. That, in my opinion, is a bad investment if you're looking to get rich quick.
Well, I'm not surprised.
I mean, if you're looking to get rich slow, then it may not bother you, but for me, it bothers me a lot. Because I could have put that £10,000 that I paid for fees on other assets that could have given me a return on investment a lot sooner than 3 pathetic years. Anyways, if you want me to go over the numbers, comment below and I'll go into more detail on it through my second channel. As for the question of how many kids I have, not enough. My babies are my assets and liabilities. I think about them every day. Hilda Vivu and Akashi Singh, how old are you now? What if I tell you I'm 50 years old? I've had people telling me they dropped down to the floor if I was that age, and some even asked me what my skincare routine was. Cold water and vampirism. You gotta get bitten by a vampire to look this young. I'm 26 years old.
Yes, pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
Crew Toy, do you like to play games, and what games? I don't really play games nowadays due to the sheer effort I put into working on my career, but when I do, the only game that I play is Mordao.
You were born to fight.
It's a medieval sword fighting game similar to Chivalry. I'm very good at this game. Some people even recognized me here because of my channel name and icon. And the game itself is actually very funny because the voice lines and characters can really brighten your mood. Look at this. Batman. Have you watched Tokyo Ghoul? I have, but it's been a while. However, I never actually gone past the first season. I kind of forgotten what the story is about. I just remember that the protagonist somehow got the ghoul powers from this woman who was running away from some bad guys, I think. I might be wrong. But in recent times, I watched a couple of anime this year. Honestly, I don't consider myself an anime guy, but I do find myself drawn to them sometimes because of how the stories and characters of that universe pulls you in. Some of the anime I watched this year are Code Geass, Claymore, I Have No Enemies, Vinland Saga, and Berserk.
You have my utmost respect.
OMG guys, those 4 animes I just mentioned have some of the best stories and characters I've ever seen. You won't find any live action shows or movies quite like them. If you're into intelligent characters outsmarting their enemies, you're gonna love Code Geass. If you're into female warriors fighting demons, you're gonna love Claymore. If you like a story about war and compassion, you're gonna love Vinland Saga. And if you're into dark fantasy, you cannot go wrong with Berserk 1997.
You sure about that?
Morningstar Games. Now this is a long one. As an editor, you know we don't always feel motivated for some projects. We have our ups and downs. For me, every single project I start feels like a weight on my shoulders, and I always seek perfection. For example, a typical GMV project might take 4 to 5 hours to complete from start to finish, but I end up taking 4 to 5 days or even weeks. I keep editing and re-editing, knowing there are infinite possibilities to approach any single project. So, I just wanted to ask, how do you handle these types of situations as an editor?
It goes without saying.
Now, when I started editing, I used a very bad laptop that underperformed the requirements for the editing software that I used back then. It was Vegas Pro. I still use Vegas Pro to this day actually. And honestly, it would detour me from starting anything because there's always the thought at the back of my head that my laptop won't be able to keep up with the vision that I have in mind creating the video. But ever since I upgraded to a better computer, I noticed my workflow significantly improved, and because of this, I felt more motivated to create. At the time, I upgraded to a laptop that had a graphics card GTX 1050. It was a game changer because I was now able to upload weekly videos. Obviously, that graphics card isn't that good to this day. Nowadays, I'm pretty much maxed out my specs running the RTX 4090 graphics card and the Intel 13900K CPU. I'll show you a closer shot. This specs allows me to refine quality checks, make sure everything is looking nice, and that's why my videos are always in 4K 60 FPS. So for you, if you want to remove the weight off your shoulder from starting a new project all this time, consider upgrading to a higher spec computer. It'll save you time and energy. See this as an investment, assuming you're making money from it. Otherwise, it's just a luxury.
Oh no, we gotta start saving our pennies.
Fenrir Edits. I wanted to know, when you first started this journey of editing, how did you first come across the income to keep the dream going? You know, I thought long and hard about this. If I wanted to be successful in a YouTube field, I needed to be smart and come up with a plan. When I was finishing school, I had the choice to go to university and get my degree, just like every one of my peers, or I could have just started working after school, maybe even do an apprenticeship. But I did neither. I stayed home with parents and just focused my attention on building up this channel. So the income that kept me going towards my dreams, I give all my credits to my family. I think if you want to build wealth, you'll need to have a good relationship with your family because they will help you with your career as they have helped me. As I worked on making my YouTube videos, they provided me food and shelter. If I was to move out of my parents' house as soon as I turned 18, I would have been piss broke, fending for myself. I'd pay for the rent, I'd pay for the groceries, which would leave me with very little money to invest. The reason I was able to afford my first property was because of the money that I saved from work, which is YouTube. If I was to live by myself at the age of 18, I would have never been able to buy my first property this soon because I'd have a lot of liabilities that's preventing me from saving and investing. Am I making sense here?
Maybe.
Now, because I have a safety net, you can say, I'm able to take far bigger risks than most people, more than those who have bills to pay and have children to feed. As a result, my net worth this year increased significantly. I had a lot of business ideas that I actually attempted really quickly just by living with parents. I tried day trading, but for every one step forward, it's a 2-step back, as every profit I made from a trade, I'd lose it later on. I tried mining crypto, but after Ethereum switched to proof of stake, it made mining unprofitable. But nowadays, outside of YouTube, I found what's working, and that is long-term investing in Bitcoin.
Why is everything so damn expensive?
Somebody please tell me how the hell this small amount of stuff just came to $218. How?
More than half report being evicted or unable to find affordable housing as prices here have skyrocketed.
What we're looking at is, in yellow and blue, is the median house price in New York and in Boston, 2 major cities in the United States of America. Now, in red and in gray is the median household income in those same cities, New York and Boston. And the point is to illustrate everything in our life is going up in price by a lot. Look at those yellow and blue lines. So this is housing inflation. But we're not getting paid more. And that's where it feels painful, is it feels like we're having to work harder. We're having to take on 2 jobs. We're having to work longer just to try and stay afloat and get the same stuff that we had 10 years ago.
The network has to be durable. The network has to be decentralized. The network has to be ethical. But if you find an economically sound, technically sound, ethically sound crypto network, of which we have one, called Bitcoin, everything else you have in your life, you own at the pleasure of someone more powerful than you. This is the thing that if you own this, the passage of time only makes it more valuable. Nobody on earth can take it away from you. It's the first thing in human history you can own.
As of today, I've already doubled my money on my Bitcoin proxy investment and have zero intentions in settling anytime soon due to the catalyst that's ahead for 2025. Again, if you have bills to pay or have children to feed, you may not qualify for such high risk, high reward. But if you're like me, who has income coming in with very little liabilities, you should be able to keep your dream going by living under your means, having a good relationship with your friends and family, and then investing in multiple business ventures. Take the risk and discover what will work for you. I found my answers with Bitcoin after numerous failed business attempts. Businesses that I really shouldn't have gotten involved in.
You're not half bad. Where did you study?
Thank you all for watching till the end. Go ahead and leave a like if you learned something of value. I hope you have a wonderful new year. Be the best and fuck the rest.
Oh, you got me.